So I kind of want to touch on this Ariel thing. What were you going to say about it?
I was going to say it's complete bullshit that this is if it's a sport, your reporters have scoops, and that's how they get to be better reporters. That they're the first ones to report it. So he's throwing him out because he found out about Brock was coming back. That's kind of a bullshit thing to do. It's kind of like he's in the WWE where it's a show. It's a whole show.
I think you nailed it right there. I think you got to understand, and Rogan and Dave Smith, and good for Dave Smith, guys. Dave Smith got on the
That was cool, yeah.
podcast.
That was cool.
Pretty fucking amazing for Dave. I watched the whole thing.
He was great on the Mr. Rogan Experience.
He was unbelievable on the Mr. Rogan Experience. But Rogan had some inside information. I've heard conflicting things. I heard Ariel, he kind of disputed the point that Rogan made. And Rogan said basically the UFC came to Ariel and said, hey, dude, don't spill the beans on this. We give you access to all of our fighters, all of our shit. You're basically giving out a spoiler. It's not like this is information that's not coming out. We want to make it a big pop. We want to make a big announcement.
We just paid money to have this fucking promo done. At the very end of the promo, there's a 3-second thing, which I didn't know it was going to happen. So I lost my mind, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It worked for me.
So here's the thing. I could see if there was, it's just not. I don't look at MMA reporting as real news. You're not a fucking journalist the same way people that are trying to take down the president are.
But
it's entertainment.
It's a sport, though.
I don't really look at sports journalism as that important.
But I've seen baseball writers like if someone's getting suspended for a year for like steroids, I've seen them. Hey, this one's coming out, and then MLB comes out with it, so they have the scoop first.
Right, I understand that, but the UFC, it's a little bit more like the WWE than people think. I think that the UFC presents it like it's a sport and it's on Fox, but the UFC controls everything. They control all of the press, all of the media. They allow people into the arena. Now, they didn't kick him out of journalism. They didn't kick him out of. They didn't say, "Oh, you cannot cover the sport of MMA." They said, "We're not giving you access to our shit.
Yeah.
We're not giving you credentials at our events." Because you went at and you took the scoop and you gave a spoiler. And I
think if you worked at HBO.
And you had analogy I was just about to make.
And you had a relationship with HBO where they, you could get access to
they
interview all the
you
actors.
on set. They let you went
and then
behind
you
the scenes.
spoiled the fact that Jon Snow was still alive. HBO would tell you to go fuck yourself.
Well, you're not coming back. You're not coming on set anymore, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Report all you want on your blog. Do your fucking podcast. Go fuck yourself. I'm not giving you the access to our shit because you're fucking with our bottom line.
And the only person who gains anything from it is you, which is, I think, the point that Joe Rogan was making, which I thought also was like, the only person who gets anything from that is him.
Yeah,
like,
he
just shows up an hour earlier just to be an asshole. Yeah. Like, haha, I know this. It's like, I'm pretty sure they were like, dude, don't fucking say this.
Like, imagine how crazy it would have been if you hadn't read earlier in the day that there was a possibility Brock was coming.
I didn't know.
I did. I read it. I read the blogs. Oh shit! And I was like, no, there's no way that's happening.
I saw it on Up Rocks that afternoon.
Oh, I had no idea.
And it was still exciting. But you're right. Like 50% of the surprise. If nobody had any idea, and all of a sudden it just said Brock's back. It was like, whoa! Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like that. Like it went to black, and then it showed him like really fast, and it goes, "Can you see me now?" And I was like,
"What?
Whoa! What?" And then Rogan at the same time was like, "What is that? Is that Brock Lesnar? What?" And I was in the same thing, like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And then
that's how tight-lipped they were about it. Rogan didn't even know.
Yeah, because he said he was off the internet all day.
So it's like, come on now, you know, like I understand having journalistic integrity, and I understand, you want to, they didn't send a hitman to kill Ariel Helwani and his wife. They said, "Dude, we're not going to give you." And by the way, they retracted, and as of Monday, he got his credentials back. So because it was such a pushback and people were freaking out, the UFC knows what's right for their bottom line. They were like, all right, we're not going to fucking ban this guy, but they were pissed, and rightfully so, dude. And that's a great analogy with HBO. It's like if I'm saving this fucking news and spending money on a promo and creating this hype, and I'm building my business out a certain way, and some fucking blogger. Because listen, he's not writing for the fucking New York Times. He writes for a fucking MMA Weekly or MMA Fighting. It's a fucking blog. And he says, "No, dude, I'm going to get the credit for it now. I'm going to get the 5,000 retweets." Go fuck yourself. All right, dude, get your retweets. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not giving you access. And by the way, the UFC, they hold so tightly onto who gets interviews. Like, if the UFC does not want you to do interviews with people, they'll say, yeah, don't do an interview with that guy. Because they're presenting it in a certain way. And the truth of the matter is, and I said this about Conor McGregor, and I got a lot of shit for being anti-fighter and too pro-UFC, but without the UFC, there is no sport. Ariel Helwani does not have a job. Okay, I don't have the countdown. without Dana White and Lorenzo Fertitta's work and time and money that they put into that, there's no fucking sport. They created an entire industry. So for Ariel to scoop them, I go, dude, you're kind of fucking with the people that are giving you an opportunity to have a job in the beginning.
And then you're like, well, I'm just being like a journalist, and it's my responsibility. I saw this quote. It's like, dude, you're not like, you didn't find out like Osama was fucking dead asshole.
But
or like,
let's say he found out that people were using steroids and the UFC was covering it up, right? And he went out and did that. Number one, I don't understand the UFC is still saying, all right, we're not giving you access to our shit. But there'd be some sort of journalistic integrity there where I'd go, you know what, dude, he has to break that story. And I would think less of him as a journalist if he didn't break that story for the UFC. A fucking spoiler that's coming out that night?
Yeah,
I don't know, dude. What do you mean?
And it's obvious, like, it's Saturday, 3 hours before a fight, and you hear about it. Don't you think if you fucking wait a couple hours, everyone's gonna like? That's why you heard about it now.
Yeah, he just scooped him, and it wasn't anything important. It was just somebody coming back.
If they went to him and said, "Don't do it," then I get it. But if they didn't go to him and he said it, I don't have no problem with that.
He knows not to do that, dude.
I know not to do that. There's shit that I know that nobody knows. There's shit that I know because I work behind the scenes that I hear about that nobody fucking knows.
Yeah.
And I know to not say anything because
Michael Bisping's other eye coming back.
Shit, dude. But no, I mean, like, I know that I can't say that stuff because I'm not going to get credentials at the UFC. Somebody hit me up. They were like, dude, share this petition to get Ariel Helwani back in the UFC. And I hit retweet right away. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. But then I opened up the petition and it said, I vow to boycott the UFC if Ariel Helwani's not in. Then I deleted that fucking retweet.
Fuck that.
And I told the guy, I was like, dude, I'm going to UFC 200. Would Ariel Helwani boycott the UFC for me if they decide not to credential me because I scooped them? No fucking way. And other people have been banned from the UFC before. Other quote-unquote journalists.
Josh Gross,
Josh Gross, who's a legitimate one of the best in the world. Cage Potato, which is a funny site, but they're not allowed at anything because they leaked the Ariane Celeste Playboy photos.
Yeah.
They're not allowed at anything. It's a private business. It's very un-American for us to go, oh, you have to do this. You can say, hey, I'm not going to watch it. Hey, dude, I don't want to watch it, but we all want to watch Brock Lesnar back in the UFC. We all want to watch Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz, too. So we're not going to do that. Anybody who said they weren't going to watch UFC is just a fucking phony. Let's get real.
Yeah.